Yes, it has been slightly different for us. We have a number of long-term residents, one of which has lived with us for 7 years and is not as young as she used to be anymore. So we just didn't feel like we were in a position to shut down completely and basically evict them. We're a family business and it's important to us to try and look after our guests as such. So we decided that it was best to stay open. It also gave us a wonderful opportunity to look after the key workers, and that has been an absolute honour and a joy to be able to help and be there when people really needed somewhere to rest, somewhere to just relax and have some sense of normality, and that's been a wonderful thing to be able to do. So for us it is a little bit different, but on Saturday we definitely took some new steps. So Jim, our super famous doorman, tallest doorman in London and has been here for decades and decades, unlocked the door and we opened the door again, which was fabulous. And you said funny and surprising things. For me, the most surprising thing was at about 9 o'clock on Saturday morning, standing outside the front door with Jim, and a London bus pulls up and stops and puts his hazard lights on so he can say, "Hi Jim and welcome back." You've got it when. So that was a fab story. But there've been lots of really interesting, fun things. I think the other fun one that we like to talk about a lot is the guest I mentioned who has lived with us for so long has a small dog, and so whilst the rest of us have got some bigger and longer and bushier hair than we've ever had before, Prezi, the dog, every week still had a wash and blow courtesy of the team because he couldn't go out to the parlour. But the only person that has had their hair done in the last 15 weeks has been the dog.
The reopening has gone extremely well, I have to say. So it's day 2 for us, or day 3 now. We open on Saturday, the hotel first, with a few bedrooms. The restaurant actually was a bit easier because we already had Orma at home, so home delivery service for the past 8 weeks. So it was much easier for us to get into the rhythm because the chefs were the chefs, and I just added some members of staff. But it was a success, great success for us.
I think it's absolutely fantastic to be reopened, and I arrived on property for the first time. I'm the new GM a week ago today, so very short lead time, but in that time the energy amongst the colleagues, the excitement about getting back to doing what we do best was palpable, and I think the build up to yesterday's opening was just full of energy and enthusiasm. So I think there's a pent up desire to go back into service from all the colleagues' perspective, and indeed on Saturday when we opened our doors for the first time, particularly in the food and beverage area, Hans Bar and Kitchen, our restaurant is a kind of local landmark for local residents. The joy of the interaction, albeit not hugs and kisses because obvious regulations, but they were as happy to be back as we were to be serving them.
We've opened more outlets. We've always been open, albeit for key workers. So we've had about 5,000 room nights, about 30,000 meals served during the time when other hotels have sort of hibernated and gone away. What we've done now is reopen a little bit more fully because we can. Previously it was critical care workers, key workers and people who were stranded. But now our doors are further open, and we've opened some other outlets. We weren't sure about hairdressers, for example. Ours is now open, and our various food and beverage outlets are now starting to work.
Obviously it's been a challenge getting everything together through the recent crisis, but we've started to see a new sort of bounce back of traffic, of people interested in staying here, particularly longer stays, which is interesting. Lower volume than we're used to, but getting inquiries is better than it was like before.
We started by bringing the managers in from the hotels that were going to start to reopen and set up a question and answer system to firstly alleviate their fears, work out what their staff had said to them about reopening, what they thought the barriers for reopening would be, and how we could overcome those. Then to look at it from a guest's perspective, when they visit other hotels or have visited other hotels, what would the guests expect? What can we put into place to make the experience exactly the same as it was previously? Making it non-too clinical, but also still safe for everybody to enter. We have a system of manned entry. We take temperatures as they come in, we sanitise as they come through the doors, which includes their luggage. We have a full registration system, so we've got track and trace in place. We then get them to fill in registration cards with their details. We give them hand sanitisation packs, which include masks, gloves, antiseptic and cleaning wipes, etc. We then give them an understanding of the building and how it works. We have lift systems in place that go up and down. We have cleaning protocols in place every 15-20 minutes. So we explain everything, how the system works, and we then let them enter their rooms.
Two of things is each Hyatt hotel will have appointed a hygiene leader, right? Hygiene leader or hygiene manager, which will specifically focus on monitoring the hygiene standards of every hotel with checks and rechecks and so forth. So that's a key part of it. For us to ensure that we are thriving in this very tight competitive market is we've got to make sure that we can drive our loyal customers back into the hotel. How we do that is through our people. So if we focus on all the insecurities that people have today, and we give people sufficient training, right, to know that it is safe to be here, and we can ensure our customers and our guests know that we are safe and we're following all the protocols to the highest specification, we believe this will create enough confidence in the market for travellers to be coming back and feel safe to travel back to the City of London.
I think everybody talks about new procedures and talks about additional procedures. I think I always like to say that we anyway, hotels, especially in this kind of category of hotel, we have very tight protocols of cleaners in the bedrooms. And I'm always surprised when suddenly hotels starting and saying, oh, we have to clean now the remote control. Well, it should be anyway cleaned, or sealing toilet seats to say it's been specially cleaned. I don't get that personally, because we already have such incredible high standards in London in the 5-star segment. Of course, there are new additions. You came in earlier, we have screens on the desk, which is new. We have the sanitizers throughout the hotel. We have this big machine in the restaurant before you come in to put your hands in to get sanitized. Of course, these are all new procedures, and the setup in the restaurant is new as well. But as such, the cleaning procedures are pretty much still the same.